Hello and welcome to Hysteria. I'm Erin Ryan.
And I'm Alyssa Mastromonaco. Erin, I have
What?
news.
Ooh.
Chunky the cat keeps trying to commit suicide or something.
What? Why? How? I need more information.
My Chunky is the most dramatic boy you have ever met. And he had to get some dental work done because he's an FIV positive cat and sometimes they have bad teeth. So he was such a good boy for his dental, but then I had to give him antibiotics. And Erin, it went downhill fast. Like I had to call the house call vet and be like, I don't think he's doing well.
Oh my God. What was his problem?
He in his defense, and he's sitting right here with me, in his defense, he actually had an allergic reaction to the antibiotics. But the thing is, Erin, but all of my cats get sick on Thanksgiving. Like going back to the beginning of time with first cat Shrum. So I was like, Chunky, you're being awfully dramatic. And you know, I get very sensitive when cats get sick on Thanksgiving. So please pull it together. He just laid there limp. But he's bouncing back.
Oh, that's good. Well, most of the pilgrims who came over on the Mayflower died that first winter. So there's getting really sick is a great
precedence. Yeah.
It's a great way to celebrate Thanksgiving, actually. But I'm glad all your pilgrims made it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
News. Find Out season continues apace. 2 Oath Keepers, including the founder, were convicted of seditious conspiracy in January 6th related fuckery, which is great.
If not them, then who? I mean, what is seditious conspiracy around for except not these fucknuts?
Yeah, seriously. Oath Keepers founder Stuart Rhodes and Kelly Meggs, another member of the far-right Trump-worshipping organization, they were found guilty of seditious conspiracy in connection with the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol this week. It was a victory for the government, and it apparently involved a rarely used Civil War-era statute. Interesting. I mean, the Civil War only lasted 4 years, as did the Trump administration. So the Civil War and the Trump and the losers who lost won't shut up about it. So
bookends.
Yeah, exactly. Please let this be a bookend. Like a seditious conspiracy charge has a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. So it's not to be trifled with. And you know what? What did you think would happen, sir?
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, Bye.
Indeed. Alyssa, we're kind of on the cusp of another rail system disaster. Can you update us on the situation?
Erin, I hate this story. I hate it because I hate it. The U.S. House of Representatives is going to vote today. We're recording on Wednesday, so they're supposed to vote today to block a potential rail strike after President Biden warned of the dire economic consequences of a rail disruption that could happen as early as December 9th. So, a couple things that are interesting. One, December 9th seems far away. The reason they have to deal with this now is because companies that would start to plan to ship things will not put them on pallets and such if they are not going to be available to ship on December 9th. So we understand that this could, according to what we have read, that a strike of the railway workers would have catastrophic economic impact if a strike occurred. Now, they had a press conference, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer did, saying that by avoiding a strike saves up to 765,000 Americans who could lose their jobs if there was a strike. But Erin, this all boils down to the fact that the drama of the potential strike is overshadowing what the strike is actually about. And what the strike is about is that these workers who, this is an interesting thing I have a hard time wrapping my brain around. A rail traffic stoppage could freeze almost 30% of U.S. cargo shipments by weight, stoke already surging inflation, and cost the American economy as much as $2 billion per day. Okay? So it seems like these workers are pretty fucking essential, something that I thought we learned during COVID. And so I think that it is troubling to me that the workers right now, the agreement on the table that they're being asked to accept, denies them any paid sick leave.
That's
none.
Ridiculous.
Erin, they're asking for 4 days of sick leave. Can you, for a moment, imagine a world in which we want people working on the railroad who are sick. It seems pretty fucking dangerous to me. And I think that this is appalling. And it is an issue that seems to have united both Bernie Sanders and Marco Rubio, who both object to the fact that this agreement does not have paid sick leave in it. It does have a pay raise of, I think, 24% over 4 or 5 years. So it's not exactly a huge boost in their paychecks out the gate. So anyway, I understand what this would do to the economy if there were a strike, which is why I think if it would be so catastrophic and these folks are so important, which they are, we should give them their fucking sick days.
The more I read about this, the more I see it as another example of American government doing things in the stupidest way possible. What should happen is there should be federally mandated paid sick days for every worker across every industry. But because we can't get that done, what's going to happen is like several small pains in the ass. Like, it's sort of like, have you ever shared a car with somebody who only puts like $2 worth of gas in at once?
Oh, yes.
And then you're just constantly having to just like, fucking, my dad does this. And it's like, so he'll leave it just barely any gas. And like, it's just this kind of game of chicken. When I was a kid, it was like a game of chicken where it's like, well, I'm not going to put enough gas in there that you get to run it down. Like, I'm just going to put in. Anyway, what would have been better is if whoever was driving when it was almost out of gas just filled the whole tank up. And then the same thing the next. We are doing these little fixes or proposing these little fixes when there is one obvious fix that would prevent dozens and dozens of headaches across dozens and dozens of industries.
We're the only industrialized nation without paid sick leave. It's fucking crazy. And I understand deeply, I understand how serious the strike would be. And that is why it seems to me that 4 days of paid sick leave would be a small price to pay. Even though the folks who own the companies are saying, well, we'd have to hire more workers if people got sick.
Yeah.
As opposed to making sick people work on railroads. Like, what? No one's going to go fucking bankrupt because they gave people some sick days. I'm sorry, they're not.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't think anybody should have to work when they're sick. But out of the people who should have to work the least when they're sick, it's the people that are handling multi-ton machinery that travels at a high speed.
They are responsible for what would be a $2 billion per day loss to the country. They feel important to me, Erin. They feel very important.
Yeah, they feel very important. Let's transition to something that is significantly less important, but taking up a lot of
curse you for
oxygen.
bringing this into my life.
I'm so sorry, but I feel like we need to talk about it because in all of the discussion I've seen about it, everybody is acting like a goddamn idiot. Okay. Earlier this month, Balenciaga, which you and I, huge Balenciaga customers. We love.
Oh,
no, just
huge!
Kidding.
I'm just dripping in it right now.
Oh yeah, I my whole closet is Balenciaga. I would
obviously
look. We are not the target demo for Balenciaga. No. I do not. This is just I do not.
We do seem to be smarter than anyone currently working at their company, though.
Right. Yes. So Balenciaga dropped its holiday ad campaign, which featured children holding teddy bears in bondage harnesses and costumes. But the teddy bears are purses from Balenciaga's collection. They're whatever.
Okay.
There's been huge backlash against the images because they're creepy. They're creepy looking images. But what really made people angry, and I would say that this was an incredibly fucked up and stupid move by this brand. In a separate ad that was released on November 21st, promoting Balenciaga's Spring-Summer 2023 collection, a bag from the fashion house's Adidas collab was photographed on these papers, and some people zoomed in on the papers and saw that it was documents from the Supreme Court case U.S. versus Williams, which was a 2008 case, I believe, that upheld the PROTECT Act, which increased federal protections for children. It basically said that child pornography is not protected by free speech. It was one of the rulings of that. And both campaigns, because one of them featured children in a kind of creepy context, and another featured this case that was like specifically about free speech and child pornography. It became this huge conservative talking point, and frankly, look, I find high fashion provocation fucking tiresome.
Totally.
My response to this, what a tiresome, childish move by this fashion house. I've heard people talk about it and say like, oh, Balenciaga thought people wouldn't notice. No, that is not why anyone ever makes an ad. They don't make an ad because they hope people don't notice.
You think they're like, we're just going to hide Easter eggs here in these ads. And say, no. They did this because they wanted people to notice, but they didn't expect that it would get this bad. They thought they were just being provocateurs, and that fashion, it's art. They can just kind of do whatever they want, and they're removed from real world consequences. I think that people who are upset about it have every right to be upset. Balenciaga is trying to distance itself from the campaign. It's suing the creative agency. Totally. Like, they didn't approve the shit that ran? Like, are you kidding me?
What are you talking about? That I have not worked a day in the fashion industry, and you haven't either.
No.
I think the closest either of us came to fashion is the blogging world in New York City. But we're not. That's not how advertising works. Like a giant company doesn't just say
attention, and it backfired. So guess what? You know what? 100 years ago, when Calvin Klein made all those Brooke Shields jean ads and people came after him saying it was child pornography, you know what he said? I'm a bad boy. Okay, just own it if you're going to do it. Don't be like, oh, yes, we are suing. And then I think the marketing or PR firm, whoever the fuck they are, they're counter-suing. And it's like, guys, y'all did it. Y'all did it.
It's so, I just... They did do it. They did it to get attention.
Yes.
They're getting too much of the wrong kind of attention, and too many people are mad. And it is not some giant conspiracy among the elites to try to normalize child pornography.
It is not.
It is a tiresome, childish attempt by a company run by tiresome children to get attention. That's all. That is all advertising ever is. This is just... I cannot tell you how annoyed this story makes me. But I feel like we need to talk about it, because when stuff like this is out there, it fuels like QAnon style, like it fits right into the framework of what
going
QAnon
back to the
believe.
Pizzagate or whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, and you know, another thing I want to bring up is you brought up the Brooke Shields campaign and Calvin Klein being like, I'm a naughty boy. It's like, shut up. You're exhausting and ugh. Child pornography and the sexualizing of children has been something that has been in American culture in a horrible and disgusting way for a long time. You know, like how many like classic rock songs are about like teenage girls? You know, how many?
You know, it's like when you're sitting in the car and you start singing along to your song, and then you're like, oh wait, this is problematic.
Yeah. Or when you're listening to Led Zeppelin and you have to just be like, hey, Jimmy Page had a 14-year-old girlfriend during this tour. And you're like, no, I can't think about that right now. It's a disgust. This is not new. Balenciaga is just trying to be a provocateur. It's so annoying. And Kim Kardashian has been a brand ambassador for Balenciaga for a long time. And on Sunday, she posted something to her Instagram that was like, "I'm reevaluating my relationship with Balenciaga."
It was word salad.
It was so stupid. I just want to say, I think that I don't want to dismiss fashion as frivolity, because I think that is misogynist when people pretend like fashion is frivolous. It's art, it's culture, it's an important billion-dollar industry. It's economic. There's so many reasons that like paying attention to fashion has value. But I will say that there are aspects of the world of high fashion that are completely beyond parody. This is like something that would be cut from Zoolander for being...
I'm just waiting to see if it's an SNL skit.
Yeah. It's bad. It was a stupid decision. All of this like this backpedaling by this brand is really pathetic. And I just, man. Not, I mean, I'm going to cut up my Balenciaga bags now, right?
Yeah,
Are you going to?
That's the trend on TikTok. No, Erin, I wish I could cut up all my Balenciaga bags, but I have none because it's never been my taste.